There, you're welcome to His God TV. My name is Collins Nanaya Abebrese. Now, in this video, I'm going to introduce you to 2 out of 5 assassination attempts on the life of Sajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who became the first president of the First Republic of Ghana. We all know the story of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah gaining independence for Ghana in 1957, and then moving on to, of course, rally other African states towards a continental unity of the African continent, and even helping some liberation fighters in other other countries in Africa to also gain their independence. So the achievement of Nkrumah is enormous for both for Ghana and as well as for Africa. Now, however, Nkrumah did not, of course, had it, a smooth, of course, ride in being a president. And I always say that Nkrumah was somebody that was, he died for Africa. He lived and died Africa. So in this video, I'll introduce you to 2. I have a short documentary that I have put together about his assassination. Nkrumah, in the history of Ghana, was the only president who had had a lot of assassination attempts on his life. No other president has ever suffered these assassination attempts that I'm about to show you. Now, in all, there were 5 assassination attempts on the life of Sajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, which made a lot of people to then say that Nkrumah never dies, because anytime they hear a bomb, Nkrumah, is killed. Of course, he end up coming back. So a lot of people felt that Nkrumah was never going to die. But hey, don't forget that no human being is, we are all of course mortal. Nobody is immortal. Now, as a president, you've had 5 assassination attempts on your life. What are you going to do? Let's watch 2 of those 5.
Dr. Kwame Nkrumah became leader of government business from 1957 and subsequently became the president of Ghana in 1960, making him the first president of the First Republic of Ghana. He was overthrown in an unpopular military coup led by J.A. Ankara and Emmanuel Kotoka. During his tenure as president of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah suffered 5 assassination attempts on his life. These were assassination attempt of 1962 bombing at Nkrumah's residence, failed assassination attempt of 1964, Kalingugu assassination attempt of 1964 and the 1956 bomb explosion in Nkrumah's house. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah survived all these assassinations, but at the cost of the lives of many Ghanaians. In this video, we shall bring to bear 2 of such Ghanaians who laid their life for the president. Do not forget to subscribe. Let's begin with the first patriotic Ghanaian who laid his life for the president, Salifu Degati. He was born in July 1931 and died on the 2nd of January 1964 at the age of 33. He was a British-trained Ghanaian police officer and presidential bodyguard who shielded Kwame Nkrumah with his body on the 5th attempt to assassinate Nkrumah since he came to power in 1957. At about 1:15 p.m. on Thursday, January 2nd, President Nkrumah of Ghana left his office at Flagstaff House to return to Christiansborg Castle for lunch. As he moved towards his car, across the courtyard, he was accompanied by 2 security guards, one Salifu Degati, a veteran British-trained police professional, the other an amateur provided by the president's own party, CPP. A rifle shot rang out. It had been fired from behind some sort of cover, perhaps about 50 yards away, by Constable Seth Amatui, one of the policemen on guard at Flagstaff House who had been transferred for duty there only a day or 2 previously. The driver of the president's car immediately disappeared. The CPP security guard hid for his life behind the car. The president and Salifu dived for cover. Salifu Degati, shielded the president with his body and was mortally wounded. 2 more shots were fired. One or both of them ripped through the president's shirt, but were apparently deflected by his bulletproof vest. Constable Seth then attempted to fire his 5th and last round, but the bullet was accidentally ejected. The president, perhaps seeing what had happened, got up and ran. The distance he covered was considerable, and, as he ran, he shouted for help. A number of armed policemen apparently watched with interest to see how the incident would end, but did not move. As the president approached the kitchen of Flagstaff House, the constable caught up with him and tried to club him with his rifle butt, but the rifle slipped from his hands. Inside the kitchen, the president and the constable finally got to grips. The constable bit the president's cheek. The president kicked the constable in the groin and the latter momentarily collapsed. At that stage, other policemen arrived on the scene and decided the time had come to intervene. Constable Seth was quickly knocked out and left lying on the ground. The president, having changed his shirt and had his cheek dressed by a Russian doctor, had his photograph taken crouching over his assailant. Salifu Dargati was later reported dead.
One day he was walking from his office, from his house to his office, and the policeman opened fire on him. What was it to do with that policeman? Give him a bouquet of flowers and kiss him on the cheeks for attempting to assassinate him? I don't understand these noises about dictatorship.
Another Ghanaian who suffered from the president's assassination's attempt was Elizabeth Asantewa, a 13-year-old schoolgirl. Elizabeth Asantewa's injury occurred when a bomb exploded at the Accra Sports Stadium on the 6th of March 1964, as she was about presenting a bouquet to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah at an independence anniversary celebration. What I just saw was boom. It lifted me up and brought me back onto the ground. It was a big blast. All I saw was my leg burning, she said. Elizabeth Asantewa's leg was amputated to prevent the spread of the impact of the bomb explosion so she could continue to live.
Wow.
I got beginning. No, was a no could I walk in stick in Nkrumah. Only big since in a platform also. No could I walk in stick in no chef, so no chef, no anything, no yes, I won't go. Papa, and we are no could I catch a beer, say, could I no down. And this is yes, I mean, you don't know what time I started call Papa, they will tell me I'm again.
It's not at a bomb message, the Ukraine.
Oh, mammy. Mentioning, again, let's go with your loss. Papa, this see family go and Cassam, Yama, and 1 man on Yama. You will see if I walk away in 10 minutes. What a ta, baby, I'm aging on. Many a man so called so and then by shape of the Bubalan. Naming and a show. Maha. Apai, Mujana Mahanaba. Milan show back. They used to have a hassy. At the Tokura Buddha to be a call with our. The unit show, I showed the son Ojada or Doconasa. Lamka come, Mamma, why am a fresh with Jaffon? Was the uncle from Buddha?
Okay, so you can imagine. Even just these 2 assassination attempts. Imagine a police officer who, is stationed. You are being paid by the government to actually protect the president. And you are the one trying to kill the president. You open fire on a president. I always feel so sorry for Nkrumah when I'm talking about these things. I feel so sorry for him that he was left alone. Because imagine your own police officers, your own bodyguards who are supposed to be your friends, people who are supposed to lay their life for you, protect you, are now trying to kill you. So the question is, who are you going to trust now? Because the opposition is so keen on taking you or I mean, of course, taking your life, who are you going to trust? I was so sorry for him. And if we are to judge the achievements of Nkrumah, we shouldn't forget that all these things were distractions. And these were some of these activities culminated in some of the oppressive acts and laws that Nkrumah, enacted. I don't blame him. What would you have done if you were the president, if you were in the shoes of this man, the army commander, and look at how people are playing with your life? What would you have done? I mean, there was a time he sacked the army general, I think Ankara. Ankara was sacked after, of course, some of the assassination attempts. So of course, some of the things that Nkrumah did, especially the enactment of the PDA, the Preventive Detention Act, the establishment of the president's own guard regiment. You don't blame him. Now, don't forget all these, of course, laws and developments came because of what Nkrumah was going through, which was really, really sad. If you were a president, wouldn't you pick people, or wouldn't you pick your own army? Of course, wouldn't you? Because you can't trust, of course, the government's army. You can't trust the government's police. So, I mean, couldn't you have done something? You are the first president. You are the first man of the country. And people are playing with your life just like that. And you are telling me that Nkrumah, brought about PDA, so it was wrong. Nkrumah established his own presidential guard, so it was wrong. What would you have done? What would you have done if you were to be in Nkrumah's shoe? So me, I don't blame, people who say Nkrumah, brought this. Who was behind all these murder? Let's ask, of course, the question. Who was behind all this murder? Who actually wanted Nkrumah to be killed? I mean, was it not the opposition? So if, and in politics, you know your enemy. You know your enemies in politics. Even though, yes, some people were arrested and they were detained without any trial. Obechebi Lamte, JB Dankwa, who died in prison and all of that as a result of some of these things. Innocent people were all captured and all that. But the situation, demanded an action. Something had to be taken. And if you look at the newspapers all over, as you have seen some on your screen, people were pointing, hands at K. Buzia, that he was behind those murder, those assassination attempts. Look at the woman you just saw, Asantua. That woman just died, I think 4 years ago or so, 2020 or 2021. He just died quite recently. Look at that woman from 13 years has been suffering up to her age now, almost 70, all because of the selfish interest of some group of people. When we gave government or power to them, what did they come and do? What did they come and do that Nkrumah could not do? The Progress Party, of course, that came led by Buzia and co. What did they do that Nkrumah did not do? Were they even better off than Nkrumah? And today a lot of Ghanaians, are calling for the spirit of Nkrumah back and all of that. Nkrumah was like Jesus Christ. He never was accepted by his own people. Like God, Jesus, his own people, God did not accept him because he was, on the earth, they rejected him. But after, of course, he left, because that was when even the disciples who were even with him knew that this is a man that we were supposed to have taking serious, and that's how it has become. So for me, I don't blame Nkrumah for any of the things that he did. Because you can't just play with the life of the commander-in-chief of the army. Do you remember Ashaman, when just one military officer, I don't even know his rank, was killed by an anonymous person? You saw you saw the army, the military, with their buses, helicopters, armor cars. They stormed Ashama. So what were they going to do there? Tell me. They stormed Ashama. Why? Because one military officer, who, of course, his rank we did not even know, had been killed. So they went there. They stormed. How much more a president who is the head, the army in chief, or of course the commander in chief? How much more him? And then somebody will sit, of course, somewhere and say that Nkrumah was wicked because he did it. Just one soldier. Look at the number of people, of course, that went there. Look at the soldiers that went there. And you sit here and tell me that Nkrumah was a wicked person. Come on. Come on. Let's be, of course, realistic. If you were, of course, to be in Nkrumah's shoe, tell me what you would have done different that Nkrumah did not do or that Nkrumah was not supposed to do. What do you think Nkrumah could have done that you would have done that Nkrumah, of course, didn't do or should have done? Just give me your view in the comment section. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day. Bye.